a chance to look at it or not. Any questions on it? Or did you get to look at it, I guess? Project. So the project 5 was due over the weekend. I had quite a few students with questions yesterday. Well, they emailed questions. Was there any questions on it? Okay. How about project 6? This one is, the main post is due May 5th, and then respond to 3 classmates for 5 points each. I want you to be more detailed in your responses for this one. So let me open it, but notice they're 5 points each, 3, so 15 points. And it should be, a paragraph is a minimum of 5 sentences when you're writing a paragraph. So what you want to do is create a game. And you're going to put the game in a PowerPoint, but create a PowerPoint including everything from A to G. Make a game, make something that, if there was a bunch of games at the fair, people would choose your game. It can be spin, you could make a spinner and spin. You can make, you could use rolling a die twice or once, or adding the numbers, multiplying the numbers, pull a card. There's a lot of things you can do. I remember one student that I had, you know, it's like a rope with 2 weights on the end, and then you have the 3 bars and you have to throw it and try and get it on the bars. That would be one that doesn't have a definite probability. So if you wanted to do something like that, you would maybe get a couple different people, and between the 4 of you, throw it 25 times each or something, so you get around 100 throws, and see what the probability of landing the top, the middle, the bottom, or missing it completely, and just find those probabilities and use that. It's just an estimate of what could happen. It's not as precise as when I roll a die, I know there's 3/6 chance or half a chance of getting an even, but you still can find a probability. You want to have at least 5 outcomes. So if you were using that one, I don't know, we'd have to come up with one more, or I don't know. But if you wanted to do that, something like that, and it only has 4, let me know, and maybe we can figure something else out, or we'll just do the 4. So you want to make your game, and then you want an explanation. How do you play it? Example, cornhole. You could have so many holes where you have to land it in, maybe 4 of them, and then missing completely. A spinner, You can combine things like tossing a coin and rolling a die, rolling 2 die, but try and be creative. There's dice that have more than one number, more than 6. You could use a 10-sided die and a heads and tails, a coin or a spinner. I mean, it's up to you. How much is it going to cost to play? So you have to pick an amount to play. You don't have to do like change. You could do whole numbers like $1, $5. You want to have at least 2 ways to win, 2 ways to lose, and 1 that breaks even. And you want the expected value to be negative, because if the expected value is positive, the house doesn't win. So when you're making a game, you want the expected value to be negative, but you want it to look like fun and people to win once in a while, so they keep playing, but in the long run, they're going to lose. And so you want to think about that. But you should have an expected value that's negative. Find the probability of each outcome. If you sing a game like cornholes, there's not an exact probability, kind of what I told you. So find one, play it with people and see the probability of playing. Maybe make 100 tosses and see when it goes into each of the circles or misses. And if you have questions on that, just let me know and I'll help you. You want to make a table. So remember when we made the table and found the contributions, when you add the contributions, that's your expected value. And we want that contributions, when we add them, the expected value to be negative. From students that I've talked to so far, be careful your winnings. So say it costs $1 to play, and if we're tossing 2 coins, heads twice is maybe you win $3. But remember, it costs $1 to play, so you have to take the $1 out of the winnings. So when you're calculating the winnings, whatever it costs to play, subtract that out. Find the expected value. Should be a losing expected value in the, that's kind of what I said. Include at least 3 pictures besides this table. So you're going to have this table in there and at least 3 other pictures. You don't have to, like if you're using a 10-sided die, you don't have to go buy one to get a picture of it. You can get a picture off the internet. If you make a spinner, then you can create the spinner and take a picture of it. And there are sites on the internet that will create spinners for you. Make sure you do a free one though. Don't pay money. A pie chart would help you make a spinner, and you can do that on Google. You can do it on I'm not sure if Desmos, I think Desmos does pie charts. Although I don't know if a pie chart will work though, because like all your 5s or whatever would all be in one section. It wouldn't separate them so that it's different all the way around. But you can draw it and color it. Okay, those aren't spinners. Oh, what? There we go. So like this. Now, if we did a pie chart, it's going to be more like this. It's going to put the percentage of each together. It won't be separate like this one. So you want more like this. If you're doing a spinner. Creativity and originality is worth 6 points. So if you're going to use tossing a coin twice, you need to find a way to make it more creative, because I've used it 100 times. After the PowerPoint is posted, you need to respond to at least 3 other classmates. Looking at the game and the expected value along with the cost to play, would you play? Is it something you would play one time and hope to win, or keep playing? So not a paragraph for each. You're going to answer these questions in 1 paragraph, 5 sentences. And you have to respond to at least 3 people. Any questions on it? Awesome. Do you need me to create a game? Or are you okay to start? Any questions? It's so quiet. Okay, that would be helpful. There we go. Okay. Let me shrink this so that we can see it. I'm just thinking if we should use the spinner and well, we'll just use 2. Okay. I'm going to use this one because we've used tossing a coin a lot. So hopefully students aren't using just, I mean, you can toss a coin and put it with something else like that spinner. Toss a coin and put it with the spinner. And figure out some probabilities. And we did a few problems in class too last week, so you could look at those. But let's go with toss a coin. If we toss a coin, how many outcomes are there? Remember, when we're finding outcomes, first thing we want to look at is that each one is independent. When we toss a coin and then we go to toss it again, it doesn't matter if we got heads or tails, the probability of the next toss is the same. So they're independent of each other. If we were to pull a card from a deck of cards and not put it back, now we've changed the probabilities because there's no longer 52 cards, there's 51. That's dependent. But tossing a coin 3 times, when we toss the first one, we can get a heads or a tails. When we toss the second one, there's still 2 outcomes, a head or a tail. So they're independent of each other. So each time we can get a heads or a tails. That means to find the number of outcomes, you can multiply them together. There's 8. Now, if it helps to write all of them out to look at it, you can. And when it's small, it's not too bad. We can have all heads. We could have 1 tail, but that tail could be at the end, in the middle, or first. And then we could have only 1 heads, because notice this is 3, this is 2. We could have 1. We'll put it at the end first. could be in the middle, or it could be at the beginning. And lastly, no heads or all tails. Class to play. Oh wait, let's see what happened. Let's go in order. Create a game. With at least 5 outcomes. Okay. Maybe win $2 if all heads. This one's going to be hard to get 5. Let's see, win $2 if you have we'll just, well, this one's only going to have 4, but yours should have 5. Win $1 if 2 heads. Lose $1, 1 heads. Well, this is one way of doing it, but with the cost to play, I think these should be different. Maybe it's 0 heads, you get nothing. 1 head, you get $1, $2. Because they have to play, you don't want to have any negative ones. Like the ones that we had where we had the losses, those didn't pay to play. So we could do, I don't think this game is going to have a negative one, but I listed the sample space so that we can find the probabilities. So you play the game, it costs $2, you toss 3 coins. And if the outcome is all heads, you get $3. 2 heads, $2, 1 head, $1, and 0 heads, you get nothing. Any questions on the game? Now this one only has 4, so you want to do something that's going to have a little bit more, at least one more.
So like whenever you're talking about the five outcomes, is it like so it's like how many like if you win anything or win nothing, like there's like five different possibilities.
Yeah. We can do
Okay.
another one after this one. I wasn't thinking because I was thinking there's 8 outcomes. I should be able to get 5, but it's kind of hard. Unless we went
Right.
by like the exact order. Which we could. We'll do another one after this one, but this one would only have 4. So this one has 4 ways of winning. All heads, then notice it's $2 to play. When you're finding for this table over here, when you're finding the winnings, 3 minus 2, it's only a 1. This one would be a break even, and these 2 would be a loss. So I'm missing one more where they actually win.
Right. Okay.
So we'll do another one where we have more possibilities. If we look at the table, we have our outcomes. Now the outcomes here are how you win, not these, not the sample space. So you could have all heads, 2 heads, 1 head, or all tails. Now, if we had all heads, we pay $2, we win 3. So our winnings is $1. 2 heads, we pay $2 to play, we get that $2 back. So we broke even. 1 heads, 1 minus 2, we lost $1. And the last one, if it's no heads or all tails, we get nothing. We lost our $2. Probability. When finding our probability, it helps that we listed them all. Probability of all heads, there's 1 out of the 8, 1/8. 2 heads, there's 1, 2, 3. 1 head, 3 of them. And there's 1 that's all tails. Now this should add up, because it's a game, this should add up to 1. When you add your probability down, you should get 1, or you're missing some. Multiply across. And then combine them. 1/8 minus 3/8 minus 2/8. They should be getting 50 cents. So if you play this game for a long time, you'll lose approximately 50 cents per game. Any questions on that? And then you, like, I'd probably find a cool picture of 3 die, maybe someone rolling a die. And you also want to include this. Any
Wait,
questions?
so this isn't like a fair game, it's just like it can be anything.
Right, it can be anything. I just used, like, a lot of the churches, they have the different wheels and they try and get people to play them, and you win a couple times and then you lose. And so you want to create some kind of a game that you could use at a fair to raise money.
Okay.
And you want the expected value should be negative, otherwise the house or the person who's having the game isn't making money.
Right. So the expected value is like if you play multiple times, like you should
Right.
be losing something every time.
Right, if I played this 100 times, I'd lose 50 cents a game
Okay.
in the average, if you average it at the end. Of course, I'm gonna win $1 a few times, but in the end, I'm gonna lose 50 cents a game. So if I played 100 games, just this one 100 times, I'm gonna lose $50.
Right. Okay.
I mean, when you say 50 cents a game, it doesn't sound like much, but if you sit there for an hour and just keep playing, you're gonna lose. Any questions on that?
Wait, so you want us to have like 5 outcomes. So like
Yeah, you need
one
one more.
that's like winning and then another that's breaking even. But like should we have like a couple that breaks even then? And then like a
Yes, you
couple
can.
where you
You
lose?
need at least 2 where the person's gonna make money, 1 that
Oh,
breaks
okay.
even, and 2 where they lose. So mine was missing. I needed 1 more where they were gonna make money. I had 2 losing, 1 broke even, and 1 won. So I needed 1 more. Maybe I could change this to tail and 2 heads, or head, tail, head. But then if you get 2 heads and a tail, maybe here you win 350. Subtracting the 2, you're up $1.50. So now I have 2 that make money, 1 that breaks even, and 2 that lose. Now on this one, there's only 2, whoops. I need to put a head here. Those were the heads ones. There were 2 here and 1/8 here. So that changes my probabilities. So if we change the game so that we had 2 where you won money, 2 losing, and 1 breaking even, then we'd multiply across. The only thing that this bottom one's going to change. I got that one, I got that one. and I got- I think this is now a positive expected value though. Wait, I think I did something wrong. That's 0. 1, 8 minus 3, 8. I keep getting different answer. 0.5, 2 eighths. Okay. Are you getting 31 cents? I'm still losing. It's still a good game. If you're finding that you don't have enough, find another way to make more. So what I did was I made this one a win because they almost had all heads. And then I made these two a break even. Any questions on that? So I'm still at a loss. If I was at a positive, then I'd maybe change something else, but so you need to have by 2 winning, it means once you subtract what they paid, it's still positive. 2 losing, once you subtract what it costs to play, they're at a negative, and the break even, you get 0. If you come up with a positive, then change your costs. Maybe change the cost to play, or maybe change how much they win or lose. Well, win.
So we can't do prizes for the winnings. Like it has to be money.
In order to find the expected value, well, if you did a prize, you'd need to here say what the prize was worth.
Right.
Yeah, in order to get an expected value, it has to be a number. But if you wanted to show like different stuffed animals, like the different tiers, the one tier could be a $3 stuffed animal, one could be a $5 stuffed animal, one could be a tiny little one that costs 10 cents or something, you know. So you could do that and show the stuffed animals and put their value, so then you could figure out winnings.
Okay.
I think that's a good idea, because then the stuffed animals bring in the draw. I wanted this panda bear that was at the fair last year and I couldn't win it. And I'm like, well, I'm not spending any more money. And the guy goes, here, you can have it. So I still won. But any questions on it?
Oh, so for the at the beginning you like listed all of the I guess not the different outcomes, but I guess like the possibility, like the
The
sample
samples?
space.
Uh-huh.
Right. So if I'm doing like numbers, I don't know. I guess my idea doesn't really work.
What was your
Um,
idea? We might be able to make it work.
well, I was gonna do like people were gonna like catch like jellyfish, and then like the jellyfish had like numbers on the bottom, and like if
Okay.
you caught the like these, so I was gonna do if you caught like jellyfish numbered 1, like 1, 2, 3, you would lose, and then if you'd catch 4, 5, 6, you'd win. Like, so you'd pay 25 cents
Okay.
the game, and then
Okay. I
if
remember you had sent me a question on that.
right,
You know what you could do instead of having them try and catch them? If you put
mm-hmm,
them in a pond, like one of those little kiddie pools, think of it as, and then you have a
right,
fish, then each one's equally likely. So the number's underneath so they don't see it.
yeah, that's what I was gonna do. Like,
Yeah, and so then
they're
they're
underneath.
picking, and if they pick, however you want to do it, but could have 20 in there, so then there's a lot of possibilities. 1 through 3, they lose, maybe the highest one they win something bigger. But yeah, no,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a great idea. And as long as it's in the, like, somewhere where they're pulling it out, then it's equally likely. So
Right.
probability, say there's 20 in here. The probability of 1, 2, or 3 then is 3 out of the 20. Mhm. No, I
Oh
think that's a
yeah.
great idea. Yeah.
But for like the sample space, like since they're only catching one, should I have them like catch multiple? Like
Um,
I know how for the sample space, like you wrote like
I had,
like
yeah. No, you don't have to put a sample space because your sample space would just be the numbers 1, 2, 3, all the way to however many you're putting in there. So that would just be
right,
your sample space. I listed it so it was easier for everyone to see the probabilities because there was like 3 in each rather than just one number. But just one number is fine. Just be more
right,
creative
okay.
in your picture that you're making and stuff like that. Mhm. No, I think
Okay,
this is fine.
okay, I was just making sure that would work.
No, I like it. It's something different.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And no one else is allowed to steal that idea. Or if they do, you're getting credit for creativity and they're not.
Oh my God.
It's amazing how that will happen. But that's why I was double checking who it was. But I thought I knew your voice, but any other questions on it? Positive. Okay, we'll start it out. If you have questions, let me know, but have fun with it. I was trying to think, like, the stuff we're working on now with the contingency tables and stuff. I mean, they're fun, but I thought making a game would be something fun at the end. So just have fun with it. What else? There was something else I wanted to. Under weekly checklist, I have, it's called review for final. But I also put it under outlines because we're going to do them when we review for the final. So it's the same thing. It's just in both spots, depending on where you usually look. The finals just over chapter 5. We didn't really start 6, and 6 just, I don't know. It's not a bad section, but it's not really problems. It's just understanding a lot of definitions. So the summary pages kind of tell you everything that's on it. And these are the problems we'll go over. You want to be able to draw graphs and read them. You want to be able to create a contingency table and read them. And go over the attendance problems from chapter 5. But it'll only be on chapter 5. I think I'll have probably 2 or 3 problems that are take home because they'll be a little bit more involved. And you can ask questions on them then. And then the basic parts will be on the in-person one. But I'll look over it more today so that I know more tomorrow and Friday. But we still have this week and 3 days next week. Any questions? So it's only over chapter 5. Is there one more thing? Oh, the homework assignment. For some reason, the homework assignment was hidden, but it should be there now. Yeah, the attendance. So I opened it this morning. Look at it, and then we'll go over it tomorrow. It kind of shows you contingency tables. Like the first one is about strep throat test. Strep throat test is important because if you do not have antibiotics, it can attack your kidneys, and you could die from it. So it is an important test, and they need to get it right. If you've ever had a test, strep throat test, if you tested negative, they still send it out for the long test because of that importance. So there's one here. Now this one you can fill out without the information above. You just need the information above, I think, for part D. But this part you can fill out with just the information it's given. What you want to look for, there's, I think, 4 parts, and they're marked in red, like number 1. And you can just write these on paper. You don't have to fill them in here. Then number 2 is about the quick COVID test. Now the values for this one come from this paragraph here. So you go look where all the people, it shows you how fast they were getting infected. Use the paragraph that starts above it and it ends right here. So you can get all the numbers that you need from that part of the paragraph. And then answer the questions. And then the last, there's 3 right here. It asks questions about the article. And the last one, so these are at-home tests. Benaxin now is probably the most common. They were giving it away free. But then there's 4 other ones. You pick any one of them and answer these. So read through it, take your time, and then we will go over that one tomorrow. But I want you to read through it and try it first before we go over it. Any questions? So the question parts are in red, and there's 4. I don't know what I closed, but okay. I think that's everything. Any questions? Okay, if you do not have any questions, I will see you tomorrow. Try the homework though. And that will count for the whole week because there's 4 problems. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. And I will see you tomorrow. Have a nice day.
Thank you.